we're looking at the Week 5 qualifiers and the bracket flags having the all of the locations shuffled. And, shapes and, enemy monsters are going to be more difficult. And it looks like here... Oh, we've got an interesting route divergence here. I'm a sock going right and going up to level 1. Whereas, Dark Falls is headed towards the shop here. We have Adirondack Rick down here, screen scrolling all the way over to level 3.
And... well, hopefully Cyberchild gets started shortly. Anyway,
Yeah.
The way the dungeons work... oh, well, that's not a standard level 3 shape, and we're not even gonna be able to explore the place for a bit. That is ladder blocked.
Oh boy. But it looks like outside of level 1 we've got some gorillas, which is nice because they are a part of the bomb dropping group.
Well, as long as you take out the red ones and not the blue ones.
Yeah, well, it's the red ones that are outside of level 1, and Amasak is grinding on those areas as we speak. Meanwhile, it looks like Dark Falls is here in level 3.
That's a bomb hole, so there is another way through.
Yeah. But there is a Dig Dogger here in 3, and wow, you're starting all the way up in the upper left corner. But welcome to level 1, and everything looks normal, except you're coming in from this direction, so... Hey, well, there's the compass.
Yes, the compass. In this game, it tells you where the Triforce piece of wisdom is located. Yes, wisdom, not courage. Oh, but we're gonna need
Triforce of Wizrobe.
Yeah, let's not talk about... alright, we do have to talk about it. The Red Wizrobes are some of the strongest enemies in the game.
Well,
Get hit... Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, well, with the Red Wizrobes, they're the ones, they do the most damage, out of all the enemies, save for, of course, Ganon. But it's the Blue Wizrobes that everybody hates because they teleport around and they spam their beams like no tomorrow, and that was the book we saw in Imasok's side. So that's one of the 3 items that level 1 has for us. And this one here, this could be the staircase room, and it is.
Wait a second.
You're dealing with shapes. But it ends up being the item anyway.
I was just about to say, I don't recall the shapes algorithm allowing dark rooms to, rooms that were obviously dark rooms to have a staircase like that, but apparently I may have misremembered.
I believe that Shapes doesn't have dark rooms, period, except for Ganon's room.
That part I do recall, yes.
Yeah. Now, normally in, vanilla Shapes, you can easily sort of deduce which rooms you don't need to clear because a dark room will never hold a major item or a piece of the Triforce. But now that all of the items light up, that means every room that has a potential drop is suspect.
Very well. Now, I'm sure you folks at home may have noticed that. Oh, the flags. I'll quickly paste those in chat for those of you that want to play at home. Note that you're not going to get the same seed that our runners get, but you'll have a similar experience, give or take a few enemy rooms. But let's at least talk about the items for a little bit. You've probably noticed that a lot of our runners have not really picked up the book. Well, okay, excuse me, Adirondack Rick chose to pick up the book, but none of the others. Why is that?
I think Rick might... Oh, are you saying why did Rick pick up the book, or why did everybody else not pick up the book?
Well, why don't we talk about what the book does first, and
Okay,
then...
well, here's what the book does do. And, for those who have been around for the last tournament, notice that the book had a few extra effects. Most notably that it could be used as a translation for the old men, and that it could also sometimes be used as an atlas to reveal all the dungeon maps. In this tournament, the book doesn't do anything. In fact, the only thing the book does is it adds a fire to the end of the wand. So when you shoot a beam and it hits an enemy, it will you'll get a flame after it, which most racers do not like because not only is the flame a bumping hazard, but also it makes it more difficult to do certain tricks with them or to attack certain enemies. However, and this might be what Adirondack Rick might be thinking now that he's got the book, if he can find the wand, he can actually use that in a replacement for the candle in order to access level 8.
That is a possibility, and wait, was there an item there? I couldn't tell on the Armos screen.
I don't think... Oh, there's no item on this Armos screen, but we are about to find out which screen... Oh, and Rick's not actually going into the staircase. What you can do is, if the item is not in its vanilla Armos location, you can actually deduce which spot has the item by what the message is. If it's the 30 secret, then you know it's in the forest. If it's the 10 secret, it's the second one in the forest. And if it's a message, then you know it's going to be the one up on the Lost Hills.
But there's a 5th Armos location.
That's right, the secret shop. The rare shop.
Just wanted to make sure that that one was also covered here. Okay, so that's how that works. Never actually knew, because all the times I've messed with some offline seeds just to get a little bit familiar, it always put the Armos spot in its vanilla location.
Now, if I remember, with these particular flags, there's actually about a 50 or some are saying 60% chance that the item is shuffled at all. So, 50% of the time, it's going to be in its vanilla location because basically the marker is set to maybe.
So I guess I kept on hitting that 50% shot, or 60.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Speaking of hitting stuff, we're hitting the big time with level 6. We already had 2 rupee bosses.
And we got a staircase. Of course, level 6 has one requisite shortcut staircase along with the item. But this being shapes, there could be segmented levels. So we don't know if this is the standard staircase or if there's a segment in level 6. If we find a map, ooh, look at that, we got a whole bunch of Pole's voices.
And Rick has just fallen for that same trap. Neither want to deal with them at this stage.
Somebody who has spent an entire day looking for and destroying bunnies on a completely different game.
I don't know if you want to actually finish that statement there, Jiggly Saint.
I wasn't planning on it, that was the joke. It was Minecraft, by the way. But anyway, it looks like this could be a possible staircase here in 6.
And we have a definite staircase in 5. That is the raft, but note that was sequence broken. So, that
How
sequence...
so?
Oh, hold on. We also have a power bracelet in 6. Oh boy, we're getting everything.
Now, the power bracelet is not, required in these, flags. Because we're dealing with first quest dungeon locations. However, yes, that raft is absolutely required. Now, what do you mean by sequence broken?
Okay, so note the room that Dark Falls came from. That had a dig dogger in it.
Yeah.
So, normally you're supposed to defeat the dig dogger in order to be able to push the block. Dark Falls did not push the block. Instead, he block clipped. By doing some fancy one-frame maneuvers, using the sword as a buffer to make things easier, then Dark Falls was able to get in the staircase without needing to actually defeat the enemy. However, this does give us information. Since we got the raft from level 5, we are unable to actually get the whistle in level 4. Because you need the raft to get there. You cannot have any sort of circular loops like that.
Exactly. The game's logic is never going to require you to do any of these tricks, block clipping, ladder clipping, which we'll see later on when the racers pick up the ladder, or screen scrolling. No, none of those are going to be required in order to defeat any of these seeds.
That is correct.
They will make you go faster. And, these racers, they love to go fast.
Oh, yes, I was there for SGDQ. I can confirm. Everyone liked to go fast.
So here we have... Ooh, that was a one-off staircase right there in level 6.
And we are back to where we started. In the meantime, Rick is actually taking advantage of that power bracelet and warping over. Not necessarily a bad idea.
Yeah, the power bracelet is still useful. It is just not a required item. That's all. Because there's only going to be 4 spots, and all 4 of them will have the any roads. But being able to warp back and forth between Death Mountain and the Lost Hills is definitely valuable.
Speaking of warping, we've apparently warped over to a new viewer in the top right corner, Mr. Cab 55. Welcome to Speed Gaming 2.
Now, Mr. Cab does have at least 6 hearts, so probably going to go and check out the white sword item. After checking level 2.
And the Armos item. I don't think we've seen that yet. Also, medium secret today is 28 rupees. I want to say the medium secret can be anywhere from 25 to 40.
Yes, that is indeed correct.
And, oh, I had missed the recorder in 5, and apparently we have the normal boomerang as our white sword item.
Okay. Dark Falls is going to pick that up. It's good to have at least a boomerang on hand.
Adirondack Rick has just found the silver arrows at the southernmost Armos item.
Bow and 7?
Bow and 7. We kind of joke when it comes to Bow and 7, but in all seriousness, level 7 is one of the levels you really don't want to deal with when it comes to shapes.
No, yeah, well, it really all depends on how the level 7... One of the things about level 7 and level 8 is that they are a mirror opposite of each other because they both share the same large map. So if you go into level 7, you'll get a good idea of what to expect in level 8 and vice versa. Now, level 8 is usually a lot larger, but level 8 does have more items, at least.
That is true. Considering that heart containers are shuffled in the mix, that includes the boss drop containers, that means there are 3 items in 8 compared to the 2 in 7.
And speaking of which, there's the bow here in level 8, speaking of the devil. So now Adirondack Rick has 2 of the pieces of the puzzle that's required to defeat Ganon.
Well, let's see. We need to get a lot more pieces, like the remaining pieces of the Triforce of Wisdom, but what else are you referring to?
Well, I'm referring to you're gonna, still need that raft in order to get to 4. You're still gonna need that recorder to get to 7. You're still gonna need that ladder because of all the ladder blocks that are potential, and I think we might have seen some so far. Other than that, the item that he would really like to have is the red ring, and, maybe the white sword, if we don't see enough heart containers. And, of course, the magic key would always be very nice as well, and it looks like Mr. Cab has gotten the Triforce out of 2.
And the red ring. Red ring's in 2.
Red ring is in 2.
This is where I really need to thank our tracker Jam Evil for keeping a very good eye on our Forerunners, because it is not an easy thing to do no matter what position we're in.
Oh yeah, it's tough sometimes just tracking 2 people. And let's see what our item here on the coast is, just the heart container.
And there was a heart container in level 8, so that's 2 of the items found. And now with Dark Falls in level 2, he may end up getting the red ring as well.
Oh, but we find a ladder block here in level 8 with the Dig Dogger.
Alright, so 3 and 8 have confirmed Dig Dugger blocks. Or, sorry, not Dig Dugger blocks, but ladder blocks.
Yeah. And here's another ladder block. Ooh, everybody. Anybody want to name that tune?
I need to hear it again, but it seriously sounded like, okay, I don't remember the name of it, but it's like da 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 da. You know the tune I'm thinking of.
Yes.
What is the name of that?
That would be the Forest of Illusion from Super Mario World.
I think you were saying yes to someone else, but I was going in a completely different direction.
Yeah. Well, no, yeah. So you were thinking of something else completely, I'm sure.
I was. Oh, well, speaking of thinking about things we don't want to, that's a toll guy. I mean, granted, paying a minor toll for the red ring is kind of nice, but
I mean, if it's rupees, that's at least better than the blue ring, which is a whopping 250. But yeah, it looks like Mr. Cab finally picked up the raft. You know, doing that sequence break.
Yeah, I think most of our runners are going to end up doing that.
Well, you know what? Here's the thing: Dig Dogger in a staircase room. That's not a bad. That's not actually a terrible room to do a block clip in. I mean, if you have, like, say, a Goma or some other enemy that's more difficult to get through, even a Manhandla.
Oh,
I don't think I've ever seen a Gleeok in a diamond room.
I don't remember, but by the way, Adirondack Rick has picked up the map of level 8, so now is a time for a tradition that started with the Shapes Tournament. Name that ink blot.
You know what? It's got to be somewhere in Canada because it totally looks like a boot.
You know what? I like that answer.
But then if you look at the one up here on Dark Falls level 2, it's got kind of this weird, that almost looks a bit like a tornado, like a twister.
I think I actually like chat's answer of that being the Riddler's cane or hook or something.
Yeah. Well, no, because it would go the other. It would be going the other way. The question mark. Yeah, no, the question mark with the hook would be going the other way.
By the way,
like backwards hook.
I think the red candle was also found in 2. I'm seeing it marked on Dark Falls' inventory. Or no, never mind. It was just a red ring. It's okay, Jam. I may have misread it at first. All right, so there was a heart container.
So now Dark Falls is the first one here to enter into level 4. You know what? I have a feeling the ladder's going to be here in 4.
Which means it would technically be a vanilla-based item. Now, before we find the item, I need to at least address something. Chat, I know that we like our memes here, but some of you may recall a particular meme that involves finding items in their vanilla location. Do not refer to the author of the randomizer when this happens. Fella doesn't like it that much. Come up with your own memes, like for instance, I sometimes like to call it spicy vanilla, but please, do not yell out the author in frustration.
Oh, that's okay. I'm over with that. Now I just yell out Vtorp's name.
That's not any better. I know this is not linked to the past, Rando, but that is not any better. I was trying to perform a public service announcement, and you have to ruin that?
Oh, don't worry. Eventually I will find like the most obscure randomizer, just start blaming that author.
Whatever.
Wow.
We'll talk later.
Anyway,
Of course! I just knew it was gonna happen. Of course!
Oh, you knew it was going to happen.
I wanted to at least prepare for the eventuality, but there we go. That's the ladder or step ladder in 4.
Yep.
And with the Triforce piece nearby.
That's not bad. You think Dark Falls is going to go back into level 4 to search out for that the staircase item, or you think he's going to bail on it? He's already got the silver. No, he's going to go back in. Yeah, the only item that he could possibly be looking for at this point now is the bow. And we already know the bow is in level 8.
Now,
so
there
you
are
know what this means, don't you? This means that the staircase item is going to be the magic boomerang.
Nah, I'm gonna be a little kinder than that.
So yeah, that's a very good question. Is it the ladder or the step ladder?
Zelgadison, I stay neutral on that.
Well,
I at least propose both items and let everyone else figure that out.
Well, you see, the thing is the step ladder is the canon, name for the item. And I'm a sock getting the bow out of level 8.
And, oh, Mr. Cab, nice getting that clip in order to take out that like.
Ooh, and does get the compass. Now, hopefully that won't steer him too far away from getting the step ladder. And now Adirondack Rick is getting that raft.
So we are 3 for 4 on block clips. And
now you did say that the recorder was also in level 5, right?
I did, but everyone's been finding the raft beforehand.
Interesting. So I guess you need to go to the other room, pick up the recorder, and then come back here.
If you wanted to follow proper logic, yes.
Yeah. And there we go, Mr. Cab getting the Triforce out of 4.
And apparently also got that ladder.
Well, I think the ladder was, or the Triforce was ladder blocked.
Alright, so question from chat. The white sword item today was the normal boomerang. Basically, the white sword item, you need 4 to 6 hearts in order to pick it up. That number is randomly determined for each seed, but everyone had 6 hearts before that ever came into question.
Yeah, it's usually a safe bet if you have 6 hearts, then go check that item out, because that, that sort of prevents having to come back a second time if there's like an item you really want. Or if there's an item that's not required but you really want to. That way you don't have to feel guilty about, oh, do I go all the way back to get the magic key, or do I just, tough it out?
Oh yeah, I never said what I felt the other item in 4 was going to be yet.
Oh, I said it was... What are you going to say?
You thought it was the magic boomerang, and I'm going to say it's the white sword.
Well, let's hope one of us is right.
Meantime, Mr. Cab going through 3, I'm a suck in 8.
We haven't found a map here for 4, so we still don't know what it quite looks like. But it looks like Mr. Cab is back here in 3.
Ooh, this is a bigger 4 than I was realizing. And Rick is still exploring, trying to find that second item. We know it's the recorder, aka the flute.
Yeah, and of course he would be making the correct decision.
Oh, and Mr. Cab was forced to get that Triforce piece, whether he wanted to or not.
So this looks like this is possibly the Triforce, or the not the Triforce room, the item staircase room here in 4, but unfortunately guarded by a pair of land molas. Dark Falls manages to destroy one of them. Is it? Yes, it is. What do we have? It's the red candle.
Oh. We were both off.
Well, it's nice when we're wrong, because that way we don't get the burn the witch. Which is great, because now they've got the tool to burn the witch.
Yeah, which means I'm going to be burned for talking about the ladder earlier. And,
Adirondack Rick is saying no to the nanner.
TGE does not approve. But anyway, as I was trying to say earlier, so when Mr. Cat picked up the Triforce piece in level 3, and Dark Falls, I think, is in that correct room for it, if you're ever in a situation where you have to pick up the Triforce, but you really don't want to, many in the community call it a Y-Force, as in Y!
There's also Y-Book, and there's Y-Nanner.
And, there you go. I don't think we've actually seen any of the items in level 3 yet.
Yeah. Now, considering that we have basically all of the items that we need for, Triforce and Go mode, yeah, Dark Falls is not even going to go back into level 3.
Now, that does end up being the correct decision, but I need confirmation if Dark Falls ever picked up, their bow or not.
I don't think Dark Falls has been in 8 yet.
Apparently so, I'm seeing it marked.
Okay, then.
However, since Adirondack Rick now has the ladder, technically he has everything necessary in order to... Oh, there's the magic key in 3. Has everything necessary in order to finish this seed. This is what we in the community call Go Mode.
I see. Dark Falls is doing the world wrap. That's one of the interesting things about this game is that, the way it's coded, if you go off the screen, you actually come back on the other side of the world, but you actually come back a couple of, like a screen, one row, lower, I believe.
That is correct.
Yes.
Basically, all the screens are... Technically, we have 18 by 6 grid.
Yeah. Now, it's also interesting to note, too, that if you actually do screen scroll onto a screen that doesn't exist within those 128 screens, you actually go straight back to the beginning of the game.
I'm sorry, did I say 8 by 16 instead of 16 by 8? I may have been counting...
Yeah, 16 by 8.
I may have been doing the wrong dimension first there. Anyway, I was also trying to listen to Dark Falls' recorder because I was trying to identify that tune since I really was not hearing the forest maze in that.
Well, no, because the Forest of Illusion is not the forest maze from Super Mario RPG.
And, oh! The White Sword was also in level 3.
And here we go, we've got Adirondack Rick in level 7. All he needs is to grab that Triforce and leave.
Now, fortunately, we know that level 7 is unlikely to have any actual segments, but we're still dealing with a huge level with... Who knows where that Triforce piece is? And, what is that ink blot? Jiggly saying any ideas?
That is... I don't know what that is. I'm still getting over the ink blot that I saw earlier in a seed that I made. I posted it in the Discord. It was, well, something special.
I will not question further right now.
Let's just say I've seen crazier shapes.
Fair enough. Alright,
And
Rick...
when all else fails, it's a cactus.
We know that's not a cactus. Rick taking out the four-headed Gleeok. Looks to have the red ring in hand, so this should be easier. Actually, I think Rick has the second piece, has the level 2 Triforce piece. Dark Falls now has that bow.
Yep. So we still haven't seen a compass or a Triforce here in 7. Well, there's the magic boomerang. And Rick, you know, doing the right thing and leaving that thing on the floor.
Alright, in another lesson of Community Corner, perhaps we should explain the difference between the normal boomerang and the magic boomerang.
Well, what it is the magic boomerang flies further than the regular boomerang, which in most cases people would think that's better. But if you consider, how, speed racers, love their time, they like it when things sort of return sooner. So the regular boomerang comes back to you faster, which means you can deploy it a lot faster. So that's why many racers actually prefer that. Now, some people prefer not to pick it up because they use the special thing that they have here in the randomizer, which is called the select swap. So you can press the select button in order to rapidly, scroll through your items. And, the boomerang does take up an extra, slot. So some people will forgo that, entirely.
By the way, I would like to draw attention to Mr. Cabs and Adirondack Rick's maps right now. They look kind of close to mirror images of each other if you were to squint hard enough.
Yeah, I can see that.
But what I also see is one random square in the bottom right part of level 6.
And I believe that one of the other racers has already visited that square.
So, level 6 normally has one passageway. Because of that segment, there is an extra passageway to account for that. So if you end up in that room, there's most likely not anything there. And, ooh, level 8 also has a blue Goma. Good thing the bow was here.
Yeah, getting back to what you're saying with that one single staircase, yeah, the only time that it would ever have anything of value is if it's a floor drop, and this, the room that you come out in is a diamond or a corridor staircase. Because since items cannot drop on the same screen as a block that can be pushed.
At least in the shapes algorithm.
Yeah, well, I should clarify that in and there's the Triforce out of 6, but I should clarify that it's a room in which it contains a staircase. There's actually a completely different way that the game checks to see whether there's a block there that can be pushed or not. How it happens is there's actually about 64 different rooms in the game, and what happens is that the room has a couple of extra flags associated with it. And if one of those bits is set, then that room will actually have a push block ready. It'll actually search for the push block that's in the center row and the one that's closest to the left.
There you go.
Yeah, I actually took a look. The game actually does use a procedure in order to place that pushable block.
Unfortunately, Rick has to come up with a different procedure to take out that Gleeok in that dual river room. Back to the start of 7 he goes.
Ouch.
And I did not see a map or compass pickup. So, at this point, I am looking at our center tracker. Well, there's our last item in 8. It's the wand. Every other item is a heart container. It's not every day I get to say that.
Yeah, it's looks like we've 100%ed the game. At least we're in no mode, so to speak.
Now, the only thing we don't know yet, similar to the white sword item, the magical sword, while it is in its vanilla location, its heart requirements have also been randomized, between 10 and 14 hearts inclusive. And we don't know if our runners are going to go for that.
Right now, the only racer that's really anywhere close is Dark Falls.
Well, Dark Falls has 11, Mr. Cab has 10, just picked up the bow.
How brutal has this seed been? I don't think this seed has actually been particularly brutal at all. All the racers seem to be, finding the pieces of the puzzle relatively quickly. And there really hasn't been anything that's too trolly or, really annoying. That's a good question. Did Mr. Cab get the flute out of 5? Well, that probably answers our question, because he didn't fight the Dig Dogger, but then again, he could just be checking this room out here. Nope.
I'd have to, again, get an inventory check, but again, we have to wait for the pause screen in order to do that.
Well, he's doing everything he can to avoid this Dig Dogger, so my guess is... Nope, he definitely doesn't have the recorder. If you had the recorder, you would have taken down that Dig Dogger.
Yeah, when Mr. Cab pressed select on that candle, it went straight to the boomerang. And Zelgadison is asking what everyone is asking. Where is that Triforce of Wisdom piece?
And we got
compass
one
is right there. Was that one of the Gleok rooms? Or one of the Blue Darknut rooms?
Might have. Anyway, gotta avoid that banana again. And it looks like getting the way back to the Triforce here is a bit of a slog.
Well, we did start at, technically the starting room was right, is right there.
Was that the Gleok? No, that wasn't the Gleok room. Oh, it's another Darknut room. Ooh.
I was right, and I didn't want to be right.
And, Rick is still with the wooden sword.
Yeah, the white sword, as a reminder, was found in level 3.
Yeah, that also means that Rick doesn't have the any key as well. But it looks like Dark Falls does find the Triforce out of 8. And has only 2 more left to go. And Mr. Cab is also, there too with 2 Triforces to go as well. And Imasock looks like, yeah. So it looks like all of our racers are basically have 2 more Triforce pieces left to go before they can enter level 9.
2 or 3, yes.
Well, now it's 2 because I'm counting what Rick just did.
Again, I need confirmation if Rick did pick up the Triforce piece out of level 2. And same with Imasock. I don't know. Maybe my browser's... Okay, was that really Force of Illusion? I couldn't identify that. Anyway. Okay, there we go. Maybe I'm mixing up which game. Force of Illusion... Not Mickey Mouse, right?
Oh, Mickey... No, that you're thinking... That's Castle of Illusion. Mickey Mouse Castle of Illusion, yeah. So Forest of
Oh!
Illusion is the one where you like every single level has an extra exit, and you have to get the secret exit in order to finish the level.
Oh, that one!
Yes. Yes.
There we go.
We got it.
Why was I keep on hearing the other tune from the beginning? I don't know. Maybe I'm just tired.
You know what? Sometimes music can just run together, and it's like you have like a hard time thinking of a song without it somehow morphing into another song entirely. It's been going through my mind. It's like you've got this song stuck in your head, but it's like the beginning is whatever, but the ending is like that's a different song entirely. How are these even related?
It happens at times.
Yes, I've got ear mold worms.
My apologies. Hopefully your eardrums don't fall into pits. Anyway, back to the race for a bit. Mr. Cab is close to the Triforce piece in level 8. Dark Falls in the mess that is level 7. I'm a Sock also in level 7, while Rick is in 6.
Yeah, I just realized Cab also has the book as well.
And, nope, okay, that was not the room I thought it was. But hey, there's, that heart container we knew was gonna be there.
Yep, 120 for the bombs. Unfortunately, not able to pick that up.
And, 7-8 time, all of the remaining items are going to be heart containers if they are unknown. You've already found every other important item in the game here at this point.
Oh, you know what that means? First 2 staircases in level 9 are going to be the heart containers. See, there's this thing that, you know, a lot of the racers, or some of the racers and commentators like to say that's the game knows.
I mean, there are some people I have talked to that really don't like that phrase, so I was trying to avoid using it.
Ah, okay. I stand corrected then.
No, I know that there are some that really like it. Don't get me wrong. It's just I'm trying to be respectful of those that
You know
don't.
what? Some racers and commentators have their own, I guess you can say, way of expressing things that they've, seen in the randomizer.
That is fair.
Yeah, the people put their own personal flair on things.
Ooh, Dark Falls taking advantage of that wand and wooden sword. If you swing a sword and a wand and they hit the enemy on the same frame, both weapons deal damage.
And that's one of the major reasons why people avoid picking the book up at all costs. Because it makes it very, very, very difficult to do that trick. And that trick works exceptionally well on Gleox and Patras, which we haven't seen yet.
Which means we're due for Patras in level 9, let's be real.
It's possible, or we could have a Patraless Seed.
A Patraless Seed? That sounds sacrilege.
That sounds great. That's like having a Wizrobless Seed.
Wizrobless Seeds never happen. I mean, the way that the enemy sets are set up, you are guaranteed to run into at least Wizrobes in 2 levels.
Well, you're guaranteed to have Wizrobe enemy sets in 2 levels. That doesn't mean that you're going to end up actually finding the Wizrobes. You know, if you have a level where you don't need to dig for the item and the Triforce is right there, and that happens like maybe 2 times, you could actually go through the entire game without finding Wizrobes. It's not likely to happen. It looks like Dark Falls here is going to go up and is going to try and see if he can get the magic sword. Meanwhile, Rick has the wand. Oh
And,
no!
12
no!
hearts is not enough.
Feels bad.
Well, well, hold on. So, Dark Falls is entering level 6 now. We know there's a heart container in here.
That's
Never
true.
mind.
That will give one more chance. But you see, that's one of the reasons why I think racers would prefer finding the white sword over, checking and checking back for that magic sword. Now, in these flags, it's not so bad because hopefully you'll find enough, or hopefully the game will be kind enough to give it to you at only 10 or 12 hearts. But yeah, most racers would opt for that white sword any day.
Alright, as far as what Rick is looking for, I'm guessing the Triforce piece of level 8, especially since I no longer see it marked. Now, Dark Falls, I think, is actually... Isn't that... I'm trying to remember where the Triforce piece of level 6 was.
Well, it's right there because Dark Falls does have the compass. It was guarded by, I think, some likes.
Ah. Joys of the compass revealing enough to the world.
Yeah, the compass and the randomizer is definitely the MVP.
I would think the silver arrows are the MVP, but maybe they're a close second.
Well, the silver arrows are always going to be required, but in terms of the a good, well-placed compass, that's kind of your saving grace, as you would. The sooner you can find the compass and say level 9, the faster you can find the princess, or concentrate on just finding Ganon. And there's Zelda's room.
Yep, we saw Zelda's room, we saw Ganon's room. We are not going to see them again this seed.
Yep, those are some of the rare, rooms that you only see.
Ooh, sorry, but I just saw Imasock pick up that magical boomerang.
Ooh, on purpose?
I couldn't tell you, but it was literally in the room. So...
Well, I mean, that's their decision. I'm not saying they're wrong for doing it, but that's up to them. It's their choice.
Alright, with that, Dark Falls does have the 13th heart container and all pieces of the Triforce of Wisdom. Will he go back? Yes. At this point, it's a 50-50 shot. Is it 13 or 14?
Oh, it's gotta be 14.
13, come on.
It's 13!
Thank you!
Lucky number 13.
Alright, so let's talk a little bit about level 9, shall we?
Yes, level 9 is a wonderful level. We're looking for Ganon. We're going to be able to hear Ganon through 4 adjacent rooms to his location.
Adjacent meaning north, south, east, or
North,
west?
south, east, and west. Yes, correct. Hey, we're going to hear his roar, and hopefully it's not going to be masked by any other bosses. That is a thing that can definitely happen.
Yeah, I've had issues with spoiled Patras, or spoiled Bratras as others have called them, masking the roar.
Yeah, it's even worse too if you have an Aquamentus or a Gleeok, because they actually have the same boss roar as Ganon.
Ooh.
Now the good news is that those bosses only roar when they're on screen. So if you take the boss out and then re-enter the room, and if you don't hear it, then that means that obviously Ganon's not anywhere around. So interesting choice of going left or right. And can we bomb up here?
Do we want to, but Kinunten has actually brought up an interesting point that hasn't been noticed yet. Note Dark Falls' key count.
Yeah, that's a big fat goose egg.
We know the magic key is, or the any key, or the almighty key, or the lion key, or there are multiple names for that thing, isn't here.
Now, he may not be betting on the magic key, he may just be betting that it's going to be a straight shot to Ganon. Now, it's interesting, though, that, you're not going to be able to go up these first few rooms.
Yeah, we have to... Oh no, this is a Monty Hall situation. 1 key, 2 doors. What do you
Actually,
choose?
oh, look at that! Another. Oh, that's just another key. There's another key, so things are looking up here in terms of key count. Gotta.
Well, in this case, Darkfall's got a little lucky there, but sometimes luck is all you need.
Well, it all depends on the right way to go.
Now, we've only talked about part of the equation for level 9 here. As we find our map, that actually looks kind of like a harp.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there is... Ooh. There is one other thing we are looking for, and it could be in this room. Let's see if it is. It is not. If that shutter door had remained closed, that would have signified the room after it is the princess. And it would only open after Ganon had been defeated.
I knew it couldn't have been that one because Dark Falls was actually in that room prior, but that is important to know. We are looking for the beast with an audible clue and the kidnapped with a visual clue.
Indeed. So this
Now-
room, for example, could be it. It is not.
Now, there is one little bit of a trick here. For those that remember the tournament from, again, 2 years ago when we did shapes, hints there were helpful. And so you could have theoretically run into a number of old men in this dungeon to receive some hints regarding where the beast would be, the kidnapped would be, where the silver arrows are, and I am forgetting what the final one is. But it doesn't matter because, like this entire seed, the old men speak gibberish.
Yeah, we've got community hints on, so there won't be any tips. Which is fine because a lot of the hints, that the game does give is related to where the locations of the dungeons are and what might be contained within them. So you get a lot of, it's better this way.
Ah, who guards the compass? Thank you for that. So, okay, the reason why the specific hint mode is called community is because, well, they were submitted from the community to have different, messages. Like,
Yeah.
Why else would the old men say, "This isn't even my final form"?
Oh yeah, lots of joke, but guess what? Here's Ganon.
I didn't even hear that roar.
Neither did I, but you know that it's Ganon because in shapes, it's the only room that will go black before when you enter.
Also, this means we actually had a Patrolus seed. I'm jealous.
I know, it's spoiled. Anyway, it's going to take 4 hits with the magic sword to take down Ganon, and going to deliver the final blow with the silvers, and Darkfalls is probably going to go up first. There's always a possibility that the princess is actually one room after Ganon.
Now, the Darkfalls did place a bomb before Ganon.
Oh, look at that!
Is not necessary, and yeah, I see Mr. Cab also right by, but there it is! Darkfalls, oh my gosh, the kidnapped was literally right there. And thus, Darkfalls snipes it away from Mr. Cab, first amongst our featured runners here today with an official SRL time of 53 minutes, 40 seconds.
And of course, coming in at 6th place, we've got Homer J. Smash at 52.52. Captain Green 7 in 5th place with 51.49. In 4th place, we've got, I guess, RKCTK Wrecked or something at 48.30. Random Effect at 46.47. And 1st and 2nd place, yeah, it's actually Bresticle actually came in with a time of 44:56, beating Unos by by 2 minutes, roughly 2 minutes. Unos came in second with 46:34. So GG to everybody who has finished so far.
And just before we, Dark Falls, I know that you and Mr. Cab are winning. I at least need to announce Mr. Cab's time of 54:15. GG to both of you. How did this go?
It went pretty well, I thought. Going to 5 early helped, because I got the recorder and the raft, which was nice. And it let me route in other things, and I found the red candle, so I didn't have to go buy one. Silver arrows was nice to find free, so I thought all in all it was a pretty good seed. I thought I played pretty well. Only died twice, which helps.
And Mr. Cab?
Hey, I should have waited for 55 minutes to be even, but I guess a better time's good. This seed. This went well. Finding the red ring early was good. I lucked into the power bracelet in 6, which is really good because I found the recorder last. So that was my transportation.
See, I went into 3 and I saw the ladder block, so I left 3 early. I cleared 1, and then when I was at 1, I was like, okay, well, I have enough hearts, let's go check white sword item. Might as well go into 5 while I'm here. Then I found the recorder and the raft, and that kind of just blew up the seed for me.
I was 1, 6, and then 2.
And now
I
we
missed
have
the recorder. Go ahead.
And now we have our 9th place finisher, Adirondack Rick, with a time of 55:30. GG.
Yeah, thank you.
Hey, GG, Rick.
Thank you. Same to you. Same to you, Cab.
Yep, GG everybody.
Unnecessary redigs of 2 and 8 because I thought the Triforces were in different directions.
Oh. At least 2 isn't too bad to go through again, but 8, I mean, it was all about the boot, and you just had to figure out the right part of the boot to go in.
Yeah, well, the problem was that I didn't want to spend a key at that point, and should have. And well, like hindsight's 2020, but that would have saved me a trip having to go back to 8. Knowing about the bomb wall that sealed off the Triforce in 2 would have saved me a whole bunch of time too, because then I could have just gone straight from 6 to 9.
How many keys do you guys have going to 9, by the way?
Any.
Something like 5. Where was the any key?
Any key was in 3.
No, I was in Triforce and Go, so therefore it was like, okay, get that Triforce, we're gone. Bye.
Yeah,
3 was the first level I went and redug because I still didn't have a bow or a recorder at that point, and I think that was either my 3rd or 4th Triforce. I forget at this point.
I basically go mode 3, 6, and 7.
Yeah, I had 8 Triforces. No, I had 7 Triforces before I had a recorder. And at that point I was go. Once I went back into 5 and got it after clearing everything out in 8, going back in for the heart and the wand.
Yeah, 8 made me run around quite a bit. I didn't like the path, but I found it eventually. I was key starved, like the second half of the seed. I entered 9 with 0 keys, which wasn't fun.
Any key, where was you? You had to make a left at the compass room in 3, but if you never went back into 3, you'd never see it.
Yeah, I went in, I grabbed the Triforce, I left, I went up to 7.
And then the white sword was further down in 3, so that helped a lot too.
Yeah, that reminds me. 13 hearts for that Master Sword. I'm guessing you weren't feeling too happy about that, Dark Falls.
Yeah, I smacked the old man a couple times, then I picked it up after I got the heart out of 6, and I waited for the Triforce.
I, having 9, had no chance at it.
White sword, I didn't try.
Where was White Sword?
Very bottom of 3, like the bottom row in the 3rd column.
Well, again, my return to 3. By that point, the ladder was my Triforce and Go mode, so it was like, nope.
Yeah.
There's absolutely no reason for me to be checking this at this point.
My Go mode item was bow and 8.
Like, I know there's certain things I wish I could have done better in that seed. That level 7, having to go back through to find out that the blue dark nuts there that I said nope to ended up having the Triforce. That was not fun. Like, level 7 started really just causing me to lose some of the focus that I had early on. I felt like I was doing pretty all right early on, but just those last Triforces just really got to me.
Could you bomb to the right through the map room in 7 to get to those dark nuts? Or did you just find them otherwise? I found the compass first.
I found the compass after passing through that room.
Yeah, most of the runners actually bombed from the south, going around the Gleeok.
I eventually did that, but by then I already knew what I was bombing for. At that point, I was, get the Triforce out of 7 and let me get into 9. Let's go. That candle price, though, ouch.
Yeah, I'm glad I had ready. I didn't have to go buy that.
Where was
Red
red?
Candle?
I guess it was in 4.
I believe so.
It was in 4.
That's the only slot I have that's not marked outside of 7 and 9.
Yeah, because I have the ladder in 4, and I did get a second in, so I must have been the candle. I should have marked it.
I got the ladder, I got a triangle, and I said, oh, I'm gonna take a chance on this, and got out of there. Which meant after 6, I had to go buy a blue candle and go to 8, which meant I had to pass a bomb upgrade in 6, which made me sad.
The bomb upgrades were kind of expensive. 120 rupees, how many bombs did anyone get out of that?
I don't know.
I didn't pick it up.
Yeah,
It was
nobody
too
picked
expensive.
up the bomb upgrade at all.
I knew I needed my 80 rupees immediately to buy the candle, so I had to pass.
I found one of the items in 6, and I was like, nope, I'm coming back later.
Yeah,
Anyway.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, I'm a sock getting ready to enter into level 9.
Nice.
Yeah, this was not a bad level 9, all things considered, and for that matter, there were no Patras this seed, which I'm still getting used to that idea.
Didn't break my heart.
Yeah, I was gonna say, the less Patras, the better.
Yeah.
Again, my mindset was still based off of the old tournament before the level 9 boss shuffle algorithm was put in. So, in this case, Ganon had some minor mercy for you, and came down to execution, and I honestly feel like the 3 of you executed pretty well. So, question is, will you attempt another of the qualifiers later this week?
Tough one, because the average is going to be high and close to where we ended up finishing, so I don't know. It's tough, because, there's also the consequence of taking another qualifier, is the fact that if you end up bombing it and somebody rocks it with a fast score, then guess what?
I most likely won't, because I think I just got super lucky with my routing decisions, and I'm going to be happy with what I have.
We'll see. I'm gonna just play the honest card here and try and just make sure I'm where I'm supposed to be in this. This felt really good. Maybe I'll fool myself and end up doing better next time, but I don't know. I just like playing the video game. From a strategy perspective, I should probably sit on this, though.
Yeah, for me, I've been averaging 114-ish, so to get a 53 is much better than what I usually do, so I will try to sit on it.
Yeah, even with the kind of nasty 6, 7, and 8, this seed did go by kind of quickly, now that I think about it.
Well, if you found the right things in the right order, you get to the bow, you get the Armos silver arrows, so you get over towards level 5, which had the other 2 major components, and then you get the ladder in 4. This was a brutally fast blitz mode seed, and having the Triforce be one room in level 3. again, it came down to knowing that there was a bomb wall. I never saw the map in 2, so I never knew that there was a whole room over there until I got the compass.
Yeah,
Yeah,
early
that-
clear of 2 made this pretty simple. The worst thing was, oh, there's a mugger here, and I happen to have the money to do it. But after that, yeah.
I wish I had the money for that because I didn't want to give up one of my bombs and the shapes. You know, I'm glad it didn't really come to hurt me in the end, but it's like you don't want to give up your bomb capacity in shapes, but I didn't want to have to come back. Oh, hi, Red Ring.
That's
I
why
gave
it
him
worked
my
out that
bomb.
I had I saw the candle price, so I stopped at the medium secret on the way to 2, and that was why I had enough.
But yeah, I thought the going to 5 and getting the recorder and the raft early, then that brought me into 4, which got me a ladder. And
I was
that kinda
wondering-
just fell everything into place.
I was wondering if more people were going to get tripped up at the, oh, here's the Triforce. You already got one major item. Time to leave. Ooh, there's a recorder and also in there, too.
Yeah, that was me. I had to go back to 5 after 8
Ooh.
to try and find that thing. That's why the red candle in 4 is the only item outside of 7 and 9 I don't have.
I know I just found scrap metal on the floor there in 7, and I felt like burning it, but I was like, no, I don't have time to do this. Although I had to walk by it like 16,000 times. Here it is, taunting you on the floor. Grab me, grab me, grab me. No, I ain't grabbing that.
My condolences for having to see that horrible thing every time.
I did grab the wooden boomerang, and it helped me a lot with all the dig
Same.
daggers.
You folks are not going to be happy with Imasak. They ended up picking it up.
I don't know who you're talking about. They're dead to me now.
They're a sock. It's time to do some laundry.
With
Oh, they're
Lionel's in
doing,
Dungeons, if I had seen it, I would have picked it up. I had the
I was
the
gonna
wooden
say,
one
at the moment, they're busy taking Ganon out to the cleaners.
Good one.
Do you need a sword for Ganon, or can you use a sock full of pennies?
It's gotta have to be a sock for quarters. I've never seen a laundry machine that takes pennies.
Alright, Ganon has
Anyway.
been hung out to dry. Let's
Anyway, we're swapping our socks for bacon.
Sock full of bacon?
I
Mm.
don't think that works well for the feet.
I don't think so either. I'm gonna clear out of here so you can have full time to talk to Imasak without all of us here chiming in your ear. So thank you guys for the commentary and thanks for the restream as always.
Yeah,
Yep,
thanks
I'm
everybody.
gonna bounce to you guys. Take care. Thank you.
GG's.
GG.
And yes, Imasak has finished in 17th place, 1:07:05, the official SRL time. And I believe they're in here now. Imasak, is that you?
Yes, it is.
Well, what were your thoughts on this one?
Garbage. This was a thing. Well, it would have been fine if I had bombs, but I think I spent 40 minutes of my, or well, probably longer than that, without bombs. I just couldn't manage to get anything. So, yeah, that's where.
Well, I want to say there were some bomb-dropping enemies in the overworld, but I'm guessing they weren't playing nice.
Nope, none of them.
Now that I realize it, Jiggly Saint, did we ever see a bomb shop in the overworld?
You know, I actually don't remember.
It was the rare shop, I'm pretty sure, because I think I checked every other.
And that would have been the shop, in this case it got assigned to... Which one in this case?
Vanilla Blue Ring.
Where the blue ring, I know I saw that price, it was $250.
No, I mean in the Vanilla Blue Ring location.
Ah, that one, got it. But, yeah, this seed, I mean, obviously there are issues, in your case, with getting bombs. There was another part where there were some minor disagreements from the other three that were in here before you. Why did you decide to pick up the magical boomerang in 7?
I was frustrated and I was mad and I was just trying to get from point A to point B, and it was kind of an accident. I had no intention of picking it up, but there it was in my.
It's always in a place that you don't want it to be.
So maybe you can seek forgiveness from the others then.
Yeah,
I mean,
well,
it's just a magic boomerang. This is a qualifier, so you get the place for the memes and the silliness. You know, and most of the racers, they want to try and do as best they can. So even the green leaf, it's like, I'm gonna pass the boomerang by. It's serious time. Let's put it that way. It's serious time.
That is fair.
But speaking of which, though, coming up next is the weekly race. And I believe it's going to be here on Speed Gaming 2.
Let me actually pull up the schedule, but before I forget, please follow our runners because they have done an excellent job. Darkfall, Cyberchow X, and Mr. Cab 55 as well. I'm a Sock and Adirondack Rick. Don't forget my commentary partner Jiggly Satan and our tracker Jam Eviler. Regarding, in this case, unless there ends up being a schedule change, there will be the Randomizer weekly race here on Speed Gaming 2. And this weekly race will use the Week 5/tournament or / bracket flags for the tournament. Note that it will not actually be a qualifier, this is just practice for the qualifier. And of course, plenty more events tomorrow, including Pokemon Red and Blue, any percent glitchless tournament matches, Metroid Prime Randomizer tournament. And of course, we will have more coming up, so please follow twitch.tv/speedgaming along with Speed Gaming 2 through 6, and our foreign language restreams available in Spanish, French, Portuguese, and German. Okay, I think I covered the announcements, but I want to at least make sure that you had a chance for final thoughts on the seed, I'm a Sock.
Not really. Just hope that the rest of my qualifiers don't look this bad, because it was a pretty bad seed.
Just hope we can see you at another qualifier then.
Yeah, it'll happen.
And for those asking about other events coming on Speed Gaming, not everything has been put on the calendars yet. Don't you worry. There will be more familiar things coming. Just be patient. It sometimes takes a little bit to get on the calendar. So with that in mind, Jiggly Saint, why don't you close things out tonight?
Yeah, so anyway, this week we're, week 4. Look up on the forum for the dates, and time, for all the qualifying races. Stay tuned. Coming up next, the weekly with the flag, the week 5 flag practice, and everybody, it's good. Have a good evening, everybody.
And watch out for Wiz Robes.